Hello indie game fans, we have added lots of amazing indie games in this video, with a number of promising titles on Kickstarter, so I do hope that you can check out the campaigns, but take a seat, and enjoy the best new trailers of the month. Let's begin with Voidspeed Outlaw, a retro-futuristic racer set on Mars that is a throwback in more ways than one. I love the pixel art in this, although I did tell the developer that I wasn't too hot on the genre, but I do know that some of you love the retro arcade racer, so here it is. It uses an interesting pseudo 3D look, and of course the comparison will be made to F-Zero, so let's hope it lives up to it. I love farming sims, so of course, Spirit of the Island got my attention, one that is set on a tropical paradise and thus brings some new ideas to the table. While the expected farming elements are there, including newer features like combat and dungeon exploration, what is new is that there appears to be a town or city building element where you're trying to turn the island into a tourist destination. As such, the upgrade and construction of buildings, facilities and attractions have a larger purpose, so it's refreshing to see this aspect being implemented in something other than a tycoon game. Wonderful look as well, where it's currently on Kickstarter at about 50% funding with half the campaign to go, so do give it a look and support if you can. And if you do love this genre like me, please smack the like button. This video is brought to you by Arboria, a 3D Souls-like roguelite, which is shaping up quite nicely. There's been in early access since May last year, with a fairly frequent update schedule, each bringing with it more content and has come a long way since its initial release. I do like the natural world and environments, as well as the symbiotic weapons, but the look and inspiration is perhaps more similar to the recently released Grime, but with more squishy bits. Combat is fantastic as well, with some interesting enemy designs, making this a hidden gem to check out. Developer Spiderweb Software is one of the original indie developers, starting out in 1994 and still making games to this day, where the next title is Queen's Wish 2: The Tormentor, the direct sequel to Queen's Wish: The Conqueror from 2019. This series is interesting since you play as royalty, trying to fulfill the wishes of your mother, the Queen, where power comes not just from violence but industry and diplomacy as well. This leads to one of the more interesting aspects in having city building elements, where rebuilding fortresses and buildings like mills and blacksmiths does add to your power in the long run. It's already fully funded on Kickstarter, but I just love the longevity of this developer. If you're a fan of RimWorld, but want something non-sci-fi and in the medieval time period instead, then I'm sure that you'll be interested in Clanfolk, an impressive colony sim that is exactly that. Lead your tribe as they fight for survival, farming, hunting, fishing and building, all while fending off enemies and preparing for harsh winters, where villagers can get married, have children and die, all simulated using an impressive model which makes it worth a look. It's based on historically accurate tools and technology set in medieval Scotland of all places, where the presence of rival clans can be a threat or an avenue for cooperation. Seems impressive enough and will be for fans of the genre. The developer of the first-person dungeon crawler Monomyth did reach out to me, but it's currently on Kickstarter seeking funding with less than 3 days to go as of publishing, but they don't need my help since it's already fully funded. I'm not the biggest fan of first-person melee, which appears to be central here, but it's an old-school open-world dungeon crawling title that looks like a real throwback. It takes inspiration from Ultima Underworld, Arx Fatalis and Kingsfield, so if you have any nostalgia for those, please check this out. An interesting looking strategy roguelite is Godless, where this developer did reach out to me, having turn-based combat on a hexagonal grid but does also include auto-battler elements. Play as the last remaining god of a fantasy world, seeking revenge against mortals for killing your kind, amassing an army and causing a mass extinction event. The tactics portion looks interesting, where things like terraforming the battlefield comes into effect, in addition to the numerous spells, units and artifacts at your disposal, making this of interest. One thing that I love about Kickstarter is that anyone with the right product can potentially get the funding to go make it, case in point being Runeul's Tale, a puzzle adventure game that is being made for the NES. Yes, you did not hear me wrongly. The developers are full on making NES cartridges in 2021, where this looks wonderfully nostalgic, and for lower tier backers, you will get the ROM file for this, which seems player friendly enough.
Disciples of Warlock. With their guns and their spells and their grit, ready for plenty of hurt.
Of course, Project Warlock 2 makes the cut since it's the sequel to one of the best modern retro FPS with quite the interesting story. The developer of this is very young, not even born when the original Doom was released, but fell in love with the genre and aesthetics due to his dad, and went about making one of his own, which turned out pretty well. The sequel now has 3 chapters with 3 different warlocks, each with their own skills, perks and weapons, most of which can be upgraded multiple times for branching specializations, adding more to this fantastic throwback game. Hey, remember when I said how wild Kickstarter can be? Well, stay a while and listen to the story of Infinity, a turn-based tactics title that was being developed for the Game Boy Color from 1999 to 2001, but was formally cancelled in 2002 as the market shifted towards the GBA. Get this, it's the 20th anniversary since the game got pulled, but somehow a new team that comprises of the original developer, as well as some new ones, have decided to revive the project with the intention of making actual GBC cartridges, so how crazy is that? It's a turn-based, grid-based tactics title, where not only does choosing the right attack affect the outcome, but where positioning matters as well. It has your epic JRPG story with 2 rival nations, a disgraced knight, and an ancient evil that is beginning to stir, so yes, all the tropes are there, but I still cannot get over how cool it is that development is proceeding and it looks fantastic, taking the #1 spot. For more upcoming tactics titles, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.